The setup and operation of the Scott 10,000 machine is very simple once you understand some basic guidelines. The first thing I want to show you is the control panel. Yours might be a little different if you have a CE certified machine, but the basic operation and setup is the same. The first thing I want to show you is the heat controllers. You have two, one for the upper rollers, one for the lower rollers. They can be turned on by this switch, which we'll turn on now. The way you control your temperature is you turn the dial to a specific temperature. We like to run our film on 300. So I'm turning these two dials to 300. We'll let them get heated up first. This knob here is for your speed control on the machine. This is your stop, which you use in an emergency or a regular stop. This button, when depressed, says paper feed. It will start your vacuum to feed your paper. These three lights here will illuminate. The first one when you reach your count, the second one when you're out of plastic. This one will be illuminated when you turn on your paper feed. If you're running plastic, you would turn on your plastic here, on or off. This button here, jog and run, works in conjunction with your start button. When it's on run and you depress your start button, the machine will turn on and run continuously. When you have this in jog, when you depress the start button, the machine will run. When you let off on the start button, the machine will shut off. This is the paper feeder, which can accommodate several width and length size papers, which we will get back to a little bit later. Now I'm going to show you the reel holder of the machine in the back. This is the Mylar reel holder. I'm going to load a reel of Mylar, but we'll thread it later. This is the Mylar feeder. There is one adjustment here that we have to make, and that is the crease of the Mylar with these two rollers. I'll be removing these protective covers to show you the heat rollers. The heat rollers heat and seal the Mylar to your paper. They would need to be adjusted according to the thickness of the stock that you will be running. Once the sheet comes out of the roller section, it will travel underneath this cross conveyor over to the tab section, where, aided by these white wheels, it will register and cut, then kick back the sheet onto your cross conveyor. Now that I've showed you the components of the machine and what adjustments might be made, let's start by loading the feeder. You start by loading the feeder by pulling out on the hand wheel and dropping the feeder table down. We're running 9 by 11, 90-pound weight paper. We always load the paper to this side. We're going to push the hand wheel in and raise the paper ½ inch from the top. We move the side guide in towards the paper and the back guide towards the back end of the paper. Up on the paper, but not pushing on the sheet. This is the pile lift lever. When this lever is in the down position, we use it for thinner stock. When it's in the up position, we use it for heavier stock. And that stops the table in relation to the sheet separators. For this stock, which is 90-pound index, we would put it in the center. This is your vacuum valve. This valve supplies vacuum to your nozzles. It can be adjusted by simply turning this nut here. You need between 5 and 15 pounds of vacuum to your nozzles. The air separators control the amount of air flowing in between the sheets so that the nozzles can pick up one sheet at a time. You can increase or decrease the flow of air going through your sheet separator by opening or closing valves on either side of the feeder. We're now going to thread the Mylar through the machine. We strongly recommend that you use Scott film. Other films are abrasive and can significantly shorten the life of your tip die and tab knives. Following the pattern on the back of this machine, we will thread the Mylar through these rollers. And bring it to your feeder. At this point, we have to determine our crease. We recommend using 3 pieces of Mylar in between the crease, which can be adjusted by turning the knob and pushing up towards the Mylar. Now we want to fold the Mylar glue side in. We're going to put a crease on the Mylar and cut on an angle. Put it through the crease. I'm going to pull this lever to separate your 2 Mylar feed rollers and continue threading the Mylar through the tunnel. Now I'll use my fingers to continue feeding the Mylar through the tunnel. Instead of using the Mylar feed rollers to thread your Mylar through the tunnel, you can automatically, with the machine on, press the button and it will feed the Mylar through the tunnel. To set the plastic length, you want to move the plastic size hand wheel. We do that by pulling on the handle and turning to the desired length. Now I have it at 2 3/4. I will now start the machine, turn on the plastic feed, and feed, using my automatic button, 1 piece of Mylar through the tip die. Your Mylar should look like this when it comes through the tip die. To prevent the Mylar from bouncing when cut by the tip die, with the Mylar in position, using the Allen wrench provided, loosen the side guide and move it up to the piece of Mylar, then tighten the side guide. That will prevent your Mylar from bouncing. Once the Mylar is in position, you can remove it, keeping in mind that the roller is hot, and push down the cover. To assure that the Mylar sticks properly to the paper and to prevent scuffing on coated stocks, your heat rollers must be adjusted using the adjusting nuts on top and bottom of the machine according to the thickness of your stock. This can be achieved by turning the machine on, using a piece of stock that we are running, and letting the paper be dragged by the roller. You adjust them by turning on the adjusting nuts. You should have a slight drag, but the roller should never pull the sheet out of your hand. To adjust the cross conveyor, with the knives in the open position, Insert a piece of paper all the way in the knives till they stop. Loosen up 2 collars on your cross conveyor. And move your cross conveyor forward to the tabs on your cross conveyor, and the edge of your sheet is approximately 1/4 inch. Then come back and tighten your collars. Once the machine is set up, you want to replace the covers for safety. Your machine manual comes with various charts for easy setup of tabs on different side sheets. Using the chart, we're going to run a job that the sheet size is 11 inches and the margin is 1/2 inch. We're going to run a 5-bank tab, which tells us that the tab size is 2 inches and the plastic size is 2 3/4. Now we're going to set our tab cutting knives to 2 inches. Using our chart, the tab position and plastic position are always the same. In this case, it is 1.5. Next, our plastic position is at 1.5, exactly the same as our tab position. As you can see, we previously set our plastic size to 2 3/4. Now that you set up your machine, we're going to run our 5-bank tab job. I'm going to preset the counter for 30 sheets. I'm going to turn our plastic on. I will start the machine and start the paper feeder. Now our chart says that position 2 and 4 is 3.5. I'll reset the counter. Now we will do our middle position, which is 550. Now we have our 5-bank job. As I mentioned before, using Scott film, which is made specifically for these machines, will extend the life of your tip die and tab knives. In the event that they need to be sharpened or replaced, I will show you that procedure. First, we will remove the nut and screw on this linkage. I will then install this Allen key on the top knife to maintain it in its up position. I will loosen the screws on the stationary knife and set it back onto the top knife. At that point, I will remove the Allen key and clear the bottom knife, moving the top knife up and down several times, then replacing the Allen key. I will now start in the center and snug the screws, but not tightening them until they are all snugged. Then I will go back and start tightening. We'll clear my knife again. You should feel no rub or no squeak. I will take a piece of Mylar and see if my knife cuts. I will insert it underneath the knife and just go down with it. As you can see, it cuts the Mylar. Your knife is at this point is reset. Now we can go back and install the linkage at the bottom. Once you reinstall the linkage, you do the same to the smaller knife, and your knives are ready to go again. This concludes our setup and operation of the Scott 10000. To reach us for film, parts, or service, we can be reached at 313-361-0134 or www.scottofficesystems.com.